that brings us to our last person, our little rich girl. That's her trajectory. It's just a circle around Istanbul. And then there's a little feeder that goes off it.
To where?
To Antalya.
Oh, okay.
Hers is the simplest of all the trajectories. And there were a few quite simple-looking trajectories that I saw out here, too. Simple doesn't necessarily mean unimportant. This is a woman who was born, lived, and died in Istanbul. When she lost her father at the age of 12, she did not have the faintest idea that she would be saving people from the genocide. It was only 1834, after all, none of this is on the horizon. She only knew that because her earthly father had died, she wanted to devote her life to the service of her heavenly father. And so in 1840, when she was just barely 18 years old, this girl and a little group of like-minded friends started a convent in her family home. Now, Armenian nuns were not unknown, but they're certainly not common, so she was striking out in what for her time and place was a new direction. And seeing that around her in the Istanbul community, young Armenian girls from poor families are really trapped and have no future prospects and are vulnerable to the things that were happening in a society that really valued money and status, she decided to use her money and status to open a school in 1850 that taught girls useful trades so that they had independent income and could make their own way in the world. As the school finished its 15th year of fruitful activity, Surpouhi Calfayan, who was by this time 43, quite accidentally found a new calling in life. It didn't look like a new calling in life. There was a cholera epidemic that swept through Istanbul, destroying families, large mortality rate. She threw herself immediately into fundraising for the survivors. And in addition to supplying money for the people who were left, girls without parents, she took in, she housed them, she educated them, she set them on their way in the world, and the Calfayan orphanage was born. And after her death, in 1889, I'm sorry it's a bad picture, but it's the only one I have of her, it continued to function, ready for survivors of the greater sufferings to come, and some of her sisters from that original community that she had begun in her own home, continued the mission in Lebanon, not far from Antalya, where they have served well in taking care of orphans of both sexes or people in vulnerable situations from the Beirut Civil War. Trajectories, lots of them, all of them different, all of them, including yours and mine, will have unforeseen results. All four of these great, ordinary people, no matter how they were perceived by the people who lived with them or how they perceived themselves, each one of them ensured in their various ways that the genocide would not be the end. Thanks to them, to these four individuals, and how many individuals are there in this room? What, 50? 4 people made sure that the genocide did not end Armenians' ability to inspire one another and to be who they are. They ensured that the genocide did not put an end to Armenian music, or to learning, or to the generous willingness of Armenians who have to shelter those who have not. And so on this April 25th, we should all ponder a little the unfinished portions of our own life's trajectory. When we come to our turning points And when we encounter obstacles, or we encounter opportunities, or we go to new places, or we revisit old places, whether we enjoy acceptance or we find ourselves rejected, cross the paths of others, whether we succeed or whether we fail, we will do very well to remember these four and to consider whether our trajectory may be more than getting through life as we experience it. What uses will we find to make of the good and the bad that are given to us? What motivation will drive us through the whole thing? What will there be when I am gone, when you are gone, when we are gone, that could not have been without us?